This is The Download from Sounds Profitable, your daily source for the essential news of the business of podcasting, brought to you by Spreaker from iHeart. I'm Gavin Gaddis. Here's what you need to know for today, Monday, June 24th. First up, metals, mics, and marketing, how sports podcast brings brands closer to the conversation. A new study from Global and Digital Ad Exchange is built from a nationally representative panel of 732 UK respondents who listen to sports podcasts at least on a monthly basis. Key findings include 70% of respondents saying they feel advertising in sports podcasts reflects positively on the brands that do it. 61% are more likely to trust brands advertising in sports podcasts compared to other mediums, and 65% are more likely to concentrate on ads while listening to sports podcasts than compared to other mediums like TV and online. Next up, YouTube will ask iOS users to allow tracking for more personalized ads. Back in 2021, Google Apps stopped using certain tracking methods to comply with iOS 14.5 restrictions that caused pop-ups asking users for their permission to collect tracking data. Now, YouTube for iOS is about to implement an update asking for one-time permission to allow the app to track activity across other companies' apps and websites. The permission request aims to deliver a more targeted ad experience, and the description of the denial button makes it clear users will receive less relevant and even repeated ads. Next up, is anyone watching the same TV shows anymore? Recently, television has shifted in the zeitgeist. In previous years, multiple shows that simultaneously were popular with critics and created water cooler moments on social media debuted close to each other, if not ran concurrently. Ted Lasso, Succession, Game of Thrones, to name a few. While TV that generates social media buzz still exists, and critically acclaimed TV still exists, the closest thing to recapturing that all-demographic success right now is probably The Bear. Podcasting, similarly, has had issues with finding that song of the summer success that dominates conversation since Serial. Next up, Office Ladies, a massive podcast, plans to move to a new network from Ashley Carman at Bloomberg. The popular Office Rewatch podcast, hosted by actors Jenna Fischer and Angela Kinsey, has run since 2019. According to anonymous sources, the podcast will be leaving SiriusXM Media to sign a new deal at Odyssey. No formal statements have been made, though Carman points to a March episode of the show in which the hosts express issues with Earwolf layoffs post-Stitcher acquisition and the treatment of staff during said layoffs. And finally, Spotify announces new US plans. Along with new pricing for Spotify Premium in the United States comes a new layout of plans. Premium Individual, $11.99 a month, contains all of the benefits traditionally attributed to Spotify Premium and includes 15 hours of audiobook listening. Spotify Basic provides the same but for $10.99 per month and no audiobook access. Duo, $16.99 a month, and Family, $19.99 a month, provides audiobook access for the user who is designated the manager of those group plans. A new plan called Audiobooks Access, which is $9.99 a month, gives users 15 hours of audiobook listening, but leaves music and podcasts as free and ad-supported. As for the rest of the news, Verve has acquired June Group. Jess Mott joins AdLarge Media as Director of National Digital Partnerships. According to Semaphore sources, Spotify has paused ad sales beyond 2024 for Call Her Daddy, suggesting Alex Cooper might be moving shop elsewhere. MediaStream has officially received IAB v2.1 certification, and the latest Triton Digital US podcast ranker is the first to include iHeartMedia data, which leads the network to debut in the #1 spot. While that wraps up the news, don't forget to check out the newsletter version of today's episode to catch our research database snapshot. Today's snapshot shows off listener expectations for how many ads should be in a podcast episode. Be sure to check out the links to every article mentioned right in your podcast listening app or at soundsprofitable.com, where you can also subscribe to the newsletter version. The Download is written and produced by myself, Newton Shadolkati, and Brian Barletta. This episode is hosted on Spreaker. For Sounds Profitable, I'm Gavin Gaddis. Download us again tomorrow.